thing that you're having. Like, oh, whatever that happened hurt. Well, that pain is you experiencing some whatever mystical shit, right? So yeah, that's interesting. The important thing about the demand for purity is the demands for purity are frequently so high that they are by design unmeetable. So instead of saying, measurable goals, smart goals, like what you would set in real life, you would have like you need to. What's the thing that they do in Scientology? They debrief. They hold the things, and they have the little wee woo. You guys
Sorry,
know what I'm talking about.
I just want to
It's
acknowledge
Scientology.
44 Air's comment of God's plan is running over a dog was really funny, honestly.
I mean, in my example, that's what they would have been saying.
Yes.
Thetans, yeah, operating thetans,
Oh,
including
wow.
Michael, yeah. Okay, no, but thetans are what you become if you do enough of this. It's some sort of like debriefing. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, fuck, what is it?
What
I've
is
watched
it?
so many documentaries about Scientology. I should know this.
Like, what does it encompass? Like holding hands and saying kumbaya, kumbaya in a
No, no,
circle?
no. They hold, basically it's like a conductance meter, and there's a little gauge that flip flops. Someone knows this.
Uh,
The e-meter, right.
yes.
Okay, but what do they call their stupid little sessions? Auditing, that's what it is. They have
Okay,
to get
okay.
audited. So they go in and they get
Like
audited.
your taxes? Like what? Okay.
Literally, and they charge you money for it. So,
Oh, what the
yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, so you go into these auditing sessions, you hold basically what are two aluminum or some sort of metal that conducts cans that are connected to essentially what is like skin conductance meter. So basically, it detects, in this case, it would be how much sweat you have, because a little bit of sweat is more conductive than less sweat. And they presume that sweat is indicative of physiological arousal,
Okay,
which
so it,
frequently is.
yeah, I mean, yeah, skin
We
conductance
use
is
that
like
as
it's
a
actually a
measure
thing,
in
yeah.
reality,
Yeah.
but what they say is it's an indicator of, I can't remember, there's some other dumb nomenclature that they have that's like, that's, something in your brain that you need to get rid of.
Okay, so it's not like a lie detector test, or is there trying to make it like a lying to yourself detector test?
Yeah, so essentially what they'll do is, first of all, they record it, so this becomes another part,
Yeah.
of the next thing, which is the cult of confession. So members are
Mm-hmm.
encouraged or required to publicly confess doubts, mistakes, or impure thoughts, and they often occur in a group setting or in a structured meeting or are recorded, and it
Mm.
erodes privacy, reinforces the group's authority, and can be used for blackmail later. So what happens in Scientology during these auditing sessions, they'll say, recall a memory from your early life or whatever, and they'll frequently confabulate completely made up memories. And they will record it and then say, like, what, anything that's making you doubt your
Mm.
purity in our religion, kind of thing, like, oh, one time I cheated on my partner and whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
they have this all recorded, so then if you try and leave, they're like, look what we have.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
it's mega fucked. And they'll just have you say basically anything, because the skin conductance thing is so sensitive to a movement, which you're just holding them loosely, like in your hand, and they're attached by a little thing. And also, your skin conductance wildly vacillates, right? So
So
you'd be
it's like
sweating and pain a lot.
Americans are fat as shit, so they'd be sweating like, damn.
I mean, most of the celebrities that are into
Yeah.
Scientology probably are not
That's
in that.
that's one thing I don't entirely understand. I guess like Scientology is supposed to like again a little bit MLM-y, but like they like are supposed to use aspects of their connections to like help you climb the ranks in like society so you can spread the word of Scientology. So like I don't know if a lot of celebrities became Scientologists post or before their careers, but
It's both.
it's so odd to me that like that those are integrated with each other. That there's a lot of like Hollywood elites that are Scientologists.
Well, so it's hard to get actual information because there's very few people that leave
Yeah.
effectively and don't get and are powerful enough to not get like taken
Yes,
out by
yeah. Yeah.
Scientology, but Leah Remini is one of them, and her HBO documentary, Scientology in the Prison of Belief, is
Mm.
immaculate. It's an HBO documentary, high production value, really good. And then that Coffee and Cults girl that I was talking about before, she does deep dives into Scientology and stuff, and they support each other. It's a mutual thing. So they want to recruit celebrities to legitimize the religion, and
Mm-hmm.
they want to
But
help the
I was gonna
celebrities.
say 404 error is making a good point. It's not. I wouldn't say it's religion. It's a cult, right? So maybe we should. We can maybe we shouldn't legitimize
Absolutely.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but sorry.
absolutely.
But yeah, they're
Yeah.
using people's connections. You were saying.
Well, they do that. So, like,
Okay.
you'll look at, say, what's the guy that played Hyde in that 70s show?
Oh yeah, Danny
He's now in jail.
Masterson who
Danny Masterson.
raped a bunch of women.
Yes, he super did, which was covered up with the
By
help of
Church of
Scientology,
Scientology.
and
Yep.
they're, yeah. But he's got a sibling, Chris Masterson, who is in Malcolm in the Middle, and got into that
Mm.
by one of them helped each other
Yeah.
into the thing, and lots of these people are noticeably in each other's projects because of that.
I see.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
Bronchial. Is that a
Paul?
comment?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
it's spam. But anyway,
Welcome
so
in?
this,
Question
yeah,
mark.
welcome in, question mark again. Cult of Confession has that. The sacred science we've also talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The group's doctrine is presented as the ultimate truth beyond question. Ideological claims may be framed as scientifically proven, so using skin conductance, which is a legitimate technique
Yeah.
to bolster their believability, even when it's being applied inaccurately. It's spiritually absolute or historically inevitable, as we've mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
And because this doctrine is treated as sacred, criticism or debate are discouraged. So independent thinking,
Yeah.
no dice,
Absolutely
no
not.
dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's three more. I'll buzz through them so we don't have to like spend too much. Loading the language. Totalistic groups develop specialized language and slogans that simplify complex ideas into short ideological phrases.
Mm,
This vocabulary limits nuance, frames the issues into rigid categories, and
yeah.
over time, the language itself begins to guide and restrict thought.
Yeah.
So, again, in Scientology, they call anybody that's outside of the church and discouraging you from engaging in the church, in the cult, um, as a suppressive person. That's what they label it as.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now they even go so far as to abbreviate it and call them SPs, and it's like derogatory. It's like calling, like using
Yeah.
any
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
for another group, right?
Well, I
Uh,
think that was something also that I kind of was like. So it plays into like misinformation, but like the branding around these things and how
mhm.
I think, sorry, it's like, so going down like digital branding and like digital misinformation, I think it's so interesting looking at, if we look at it from a political perspective, the
Absolutely.
use of like AI images of like Donald Trump being this like big, strong, charismatic leader. I think it like, there is like an aspect of like, there is a branding aspect there. There is this like weird sort of digital misinformation and like, I don't see anybody share those memes except ironically, but the fact that they exist, I'm like clearly they're being shared in like
Yeah.
non-ironic space. They must be being shared in non-ironic spaces.
Yeah, I heard one of the favorite people that I talk about and have on the stream before, Struthless, was talking about this propaganda technique called flooding the zone, where you basically just put so much information out there that it's
Yes.
hard to process volume wise, which is
Yes.
easy to kind of like conceptualize. That's absolutely what's happening.
Hmm.
But also the content with which you do that with, allowing absurdist content and things that don't really fit makes it so that when the person in question does something absurd, it doesn't seem that off base, right?
Yeah.
So if you see all of these memes or you hear about, like absolutely nuts things, then when things like that actually happen, it doesn't seem so extreme because you've been in psychology, we would call that primed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So his example was I had never heard of this, but Dan said he had, is Pizzagate.
Oh my
Are people
God.
familiar with Pizzagate?
Yes.
Right, so just the fact that
Yeah.
your response is, "Oh my god," shows how delegitimate it is, how
Yeah.
preposterous
Yeah.
it is. But note that the fact that we already have that response, and now we have a very related thing actually happening, and because we've delegitimized an existing, already known to be false claim, this seems less extreme. It's kind of like, oh, this is just like that thing. It's easier to write that away when you're on
Mhm.
side with the people that you're trying to kind of like de-escalate the
Yeah.
importance of this of, or delegitimize, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
sorry, going on that note, I think it's such an interest sorry, I know we're deviating from the last
Oh,
couple
cool.
points that you have,
That's okay.
but like talking like misinformation and like conspiracy theories, I think it is so interesting that like conspiracy theories are now like what we genuinely thought were conspiracy theories back in 2020 are now like mainstream reality one.
Yep.
And like could you justify that the people like this elite cabal of pedophiles, which we were all like, what the fuck are you guys
Mm,
talking about 5 years ago? And we're like, oh shit,
yeah.
it's real. How do you think, how many cult tactics do you think are being employed there? Or do you believe that they're all just like terrible people?
You mean in keeping people that are
Well,
within that group,
yeah,
or
I
to
mean, could we
help
like,
the general public not freak out?
yeah, I think like, could we say that like some of the aspects of cult dynamics are were being used to maintain that cabal essentially? Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein was essentially like building a cult of like pedophilic followers?
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that
That
it
might be a
was
hot
altogether
take, but
that sophisticated. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way to prove it, number one, so I think it's a perfectly reasonable
yeah.
take. I do think that it probably has a little bit to do with that.
Honestly, if you say I actually don't, I just disagree. I think they're all terrible people. That's a totally justifiable
No,
response.
no, I don't think I think it's got touches of some of it
Yeah,
and misses the mark on other ones because,
yeah,
like, it does have the self-protective, like, we don't talk to people outside the group about what happens
yeah.
here kind of thing, I'm sure is part of it. The protecting, each other in the in-group, out-group is certainly
Mm-hmm.
there. But I think what it lacks is maybe the power hierarchy within that group, because everyone in that group is so powerful
Mm-hmm.
and they try and kind of recruit similarly
Mm-hmm.
powerful people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be where it loses cult credibility for
Yeah.
me, but it's also, again, does it need to hit all the marks for it to be coercive control, or damaging or whatever? Not for me. So I'm fine with it. I think that's an acceptable take. Yeah,
Sorry.
too organized to not be collective secret society of evil. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Trump is a pedo and he avoids the news with starting wars. Yeah. I think okay. I think it's a
Yeah,
simplified take, but I don't completely disagree either.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, the next one
Yeah.
is doctrine over person. I'm trying to see if this applies. When personal experiences conflict with the group's teaching, the ideology takes precedence.
Mm-hmm.
Members are encouraged to reinterpret or dismiss their own perceptions rather than question the doctrine, and individual judgment becomes subordinate to the collective belief system. So I guess this would be something where you could theorize that there's the ultimate terrible evil version of, being a child abuser and all of that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
wherein you're the organizer, the host, and the encourager and procurer of said materials and peoples, and that might be the worst of the worst. And then there's the hierarchy down below that, where the doctrine is, okay, we're all just having fun here, don't be so uptight. I could
Mm-hmm.
see that being the rhetoric that keeps people from listening to, because someone in there has to have had a hackle go up and be like, ugh, I might be into some freaky shit, but I'm not into that freaky level of shit.
Yeah.
Kind of like what people talked about post P Diddy, right? Like, not everyone is the same level of diabolical. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that cult like tactics might be employed to prevent dissent and
Yeah.
prevent kind you know, leaving or whatever. But